All right, what's up? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Amigo.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, Wednesday, let's get after this thing today. Man, I want to go real quick into before we get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, man, I want to get into like some technical type stuff. I sat down with a client on Monday that that I helped out that was actually a client of Eric's and had me sit down with her. And she had a Transamerica policy, right? She had a $780,000 Transamerica whole life. No, it was a index universal life policy, right? 780,000. How much do you think she paid for this on a monthly basis? No, it's not that much. It's not that. She's 35, right? She's saying she had this thing for probably
How much coverage?
780,000.
450.
Close. It was 305. She's paying $305. She's 35 years old. Got the policy when she was like 30, pays $305 a month for 780,000. Actually, she set it up when she originally did it, Natalie, for 500,000 or $500. And she was like, I can't afford to do all that. So they throttled it back down to 305, right?
Crazy.
So it was insane, right? So we sat down with her. I want to kind of see where you guys are in terms of like what you would do with a policy like this, right? So I got the policy. Ray, you're newly licensed, sir, you're newly licensed. If you had a policy, they give you the they give you a $780,000 Transamerica policy. What's the process that you go about with educating and explaining to her what she has, and then most importantly, how do you go about making the phone call? Have you ever done one of those before? An actual phone call to the company? Okay, so that's what we're gonna go over real quick. Okay, what we do, how do we make these phone calls to go about and replace these policies? I think that's super important. What's up, Josh? To make sure that you guys know how to do that. So I would be taking some notes, right? Especially for you guys that are on Zoom and everything like that. So I got this $380,000 policy, or this $305 a month policy, 780,000. Who do I call? I have her on the line. Who do I call? If the company's Transamerica, who do we call? What do we do? Brian, I have a policy. Let's go with brand newer people, so or newer, Brian, here's my policy. What's the process? What do I got, sir? This is what I have. Yeah, here's my policy. This is my $780,000 policy. What do I do? What do I got?
Call the company and ask them how much they have the cash value, who keeps it.
Okay. So like I'm literally the client. You're my agent. Walk me through this. Yeah, man. When KT's done, presentation's done, you have my policy in your hand. What do we do? Don't know. So you wouldn't do an effort. I mean, not necessarily. I'm giving you the policy. You have it in your hands right now.
Brian,
What would you do? Here's my policy.
I'll go to that.
You're my professional. I have no idea what I do.
I'll go to that chart and show her like. what's gonna happen.
Okay.
The chart.
Okay, so I got that T-chart. Everything's all good. Yep, it makes sense. I'm not gonna have any of this stuff. I'm not sure if it really works like that. Is there a way that we can actually figure out how this works? What do we do? Okay, so we call Transamerica 1-800-Transamerica. We get
Pyramid.
1-800-pyramid is actually the number. It's literally the number. So we call them, we get them online. We have the agent, or the customer service representative. It's me and you. You're leading this thing. Hello, this is Transamerica. How can we help you?
Yeah, first I'll have the client, I'll tell the person right there. I'm trying to speak on my behalf. And I'll just start asking the question. I don't really know all the questions, I've never done it before, but I'll ask you like how much is the cash value? The questions.
Okay. Very good. Here are the questions you should be asking. Okay. The questions we should be asking when we get them on the line. is, first of all, what kind of policy is this? What kind of policy is this? This is a whole life. This is a variable life. This is a universal life. This is a flexible premium adjustable life. This is an index universal life policy. So what kind of policy is it? Number one. Number two is, what's the coverage? Policy was 780,000. Question number three, what do you think it is? Matt?
Cash value?
Well, before cash value, that is a question, but before cash value, what's the question you should ask? We got what kind it is, we got the coverage amount, what's the next question? What is it?
How much?
Premium.
How much premium it is, what's the monthly cost? It's $305 a month. You should probably already know in your head that if a 30-something-year-old is paying $300 a month, it's an alley-oop. It's an alley-oop. We close it, okay? So now we have what type it is, we have the coverage, we have the premium amount. Next question. Now you said it.
Cash value.
What's the cash value? Is there any cash value here? How much is in the cash value? This is crazy. This is what they said. They said, your client, this person has $9,500 in the cash value. If I didn't know what to ask, that would have been that, right? But if, the next question you should be asking is, if she wanted to use some money, how much can she take out? And you know what they said? They said they cannot access anything because the surrender value is higher than the actual cash value amount. I had nothing in there. Nothing in there. 9,500 on paper in cash value purposes, but if she wanted to surrender the policy and cancel it, nothing. She has no access to anything. She had it since 2020. 6 years. Yes, sir.
You ask if the client wanted to take money out, how much would she be able to access?
Yep.
Surrender value.
Yep. Okay, got that? And then, you ask, is there an interest rate? If she uses some money, does she have to borrow it, pay it back? What do you think they said? Yes. What's the next question after that? What's the interest rate? What's the interest rate? They said 8%. And then the final slam dunk question is, if my client passed away, if my friend passed away, how much total money would her beneficiary receive? And they said 780,000. So based on that right there, you can reiterate and follow it up. So let me clarify this, right? You're saying that they will get the death benefit, but they will not receive the cash value? What do you think they said? Yes, that is correct.
Should they say, well, let me check.
Yeah. And then they'll come back and they'll say, that is correct. It's just 780,000. It's just the death benefit. Okay?
Yeah, how much would they receive?
How much will they receive? Another good question you should ask is, what's the policy issue date? And another question, what's the policy number? Policy number, what's policy issue date? Yes, sir.
Can we also ask how much is like the cash value accumulating over annually?
Yeah, so with the index universal life, it's in the market, so they're gonna give you some fluffed up number. They're gonna say, well, based on what the market is doing, it's gonna be averaging something like this, but no less than this percentage, right? Whole life, they'll say it's averaging 4%, 1%, whatever, but that's like a fixed number. But in a variable or an index universal, because it's invested in the market, they're gonna give you a fluctuated number, which is not gonna be a specific number. It's gonna give you hearsay. It's averaging, they're gonna give you a long paragraph to say that it averages maybe something like this, but no less than this. Okay, so now we have the policy, we have what kind of policy it is, we have the policy amount, we have the policy number, we have the issue date, we know how much the coverage is for, we know that if they borrow anything, we know the cash value, we have all the questions that we need here, right? And we say, okay, if they wanted to cancel this, so now they have this policy, okay? Let's go through this. So, right, they have this policy, we got all the information. Client knows they don't want to keep it, but we don't want to cancel it right now. What's the process? Let's go to Ray real quick. What's the process?
Alright.
Yeah. What do we advise that company to do on our client's behalf? Do we want to cancel the policy right off the bat without having our policy in place?
So we run some quotes for them.
So we run some quotes for them, but this is what we do. So there's no gap in coverage. Josh, what were you gonna say?
Call the company to be.
Right.
So that way. It's no auto pay, it will stop the auto pay. To send the mail. Yeah.
Sense? So they usually do automatic. So we're gonna say, this is the actual verbiage. This, hey, don't automatically draft this. Put me on monthly direct bill. Monthly direct bill. Yep. Which means on the day that their policy premium is due, they send them a statement in the mail that has a way to pay the premium. We know that we have how much time from the policy date, right? From the policy due date to how long do we have to pay that premium to keep it in force?
31 days.
31 days. That is called the what?
Grace
Grace period.
Grace period.
Grace period. That 31 days gives us plenty of enough time for us to run quotes, for us to do the underwriting, for us to get the policy enforced. And then once our policy gets enforced, then they can either just let it lapse out and ride out. In that case, because they don't have any cash value, they can just let it lapse out. Or if they have cash value, we call them, we say, hey, I would like to cancel this policy, send them any cash value in a check, right? To the address on file. And we use that money and we do it with that money. That's right. We start with the mutual funds with that. Yes, ma'am.
Why wouldn't you want to cancel the policy then?
Because you don't want any gap in coverage. You don't want any gap in coverage. Not only that, right? Worst case scenario, you don't want our policy to go through the underwriting and for some reason they get declined. Now you put them in a worse situation. Now they have no insurance whatsoever. Make sense? Okay. So we did that. These were the actual, and then we went through 780,000, 35, 36 years old. We rounded it up to $1 million. Okay. She was paying $305 a month. We just kept it simple at 300. $1 million of coverage. You know how much it was with us? It was $120. $120 for $1 million of coverage. You gave her 220,000 more of coverage, right? For way less than what she was paying. $170 less than what she was paying. And then we took the $170 and right off the bat, what did we do? Open up a mutual fund, $170 right off the bat. So we did, not only did we put them in a much better situation, we gave them more insurance. We also gave them a way to have actual investments that's grown at a higher interest rate than what they would ever have in the cash value. Put them in a much better situation. For the time being right now, sir, because she still has her policy open with Transamerica, she's actually double covered right now. She's in the process of getting covered for $1 million. But she also has that 780,000 with Transamerica for the time being. So she's kind of like double dipping for right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once that policy gets in effect, which is going to be in a week or so, week and a half. Once that policy gets in effect, we're going to call Transamerica, cancel that thing. right? And Aaron, that was from a referral, right? Or no, that was from one of your clients.
So my barber,
Yep.
that's his wife.
Yep. And this is,
getting haircuts, so barbers aren't your clients at that.
yeah. That's right. That's right. And this was his wife, right? And so that's how we go about replacing those policies. Very important, man. Like if they have a policy and if you have a policy in your hands, you can go through that with them and you show them the bullet points. If they don't do it, if they don't have the policy, call the company. You chat GPT, Transamerica Life Insurance Customer Service, Prudential Life Insurance Customer Service. You want to call it customer service lines. Okay, because most of these companies, they have life insurance lines, they have retirement plan lines, they have life annuity lines. You want to call it the life insurance customer service line. Those are recorded for quality service. So an agent, right? And she kept telling me this on the call. She's like, man, my friend, right, which was the agent with Transamerica at the time. I'm a nurse. She was a nurse working with Transamerica on the side. I told her that I wanted to set up some investments, right? She did a whole budget with me, set everything up, and then all of a sudden, out of left field, she hooked me up with this life insurance policy. I had no idea what I was doing.
Wow.
Okay, she was going to get set up for investments for retirement, and that lady sold her a policy.
That's all she could do.
That's all she could do. That's right. Okay, and so she kept saying, that's not what the agent said. That's not what the agent was telling me. When you call the customer service line, because they are recorded, they got to tell you straight up facts about how these policies work. Agents can paint rust, a different color. At the end of the day, it's still rust. Customer service line, they got to give you what it is. Okay, so call the company specifically. Does that make sense? Any questions on that at all? No? Good? Okay, cool. So, all right. And then let's get into this right here, y'all. All right. Share my screen here. All right. So listen, we want to talk about distribution, man. Everything that, whenever I talk about different things, I always talk about, technical, give you guys a little element of technical training. And then I always talk about the main thing that we need to be focusing on, which is distribution, what do most of these companies, the biggest companies in the world, what do they focus in on? Distribution. Coca-Cola is enormous because they have distribution. That right there is an Amazon warehouse. Look at the size of that thing. That's distribution, right? They don't make products. They don't sell Coca-Cola, right? The McDonald's doesn't have the best food in the world. What separates them from everything else is they focus in on distribution. Okay, they have the biggest distribution in the world, and that's what we're going to be talking about with Primerica, man. Every single time we think about something like that, and we talk about this with Primerica, man, in our organization, we have to be focusing in on distribution. The person that gets obsessive with distribution in Primerica is the person that's going to go out to build a huge organization, make ultimately a ton of money. But that's what it is. What's distribution in Primerica? It's recruiting, yes, that is the catalyst, but what is real distribution in Primerica?
RVPs of our.
It's RVPs of RVPs, yes, that's how we get outlets. What is real distribution in Primerica? License agents. Licensed agents. We can recruit all day long, but if they don't get licensed, that's not distribution, right? It's gonna take a little bit of time to develop some regional vice presidents, but immediately we can start developing some licensed agents and create distribution. See, what licensed agents create, what distribution enforces, it creates more licensed people. If we have more licensed people, Alan, we have more appointments. If we have more appointments, more families are being helped. If we have more families that are helped, that's going to lead to more premium. And if people are doing recruiting and they're doing premium, it leads to promotions, which ultimately creates more leaders. Distribution, licensed people is what we should be obsessing about, y'all. Recruiting big numbers are fantastic. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. The numbers that, some of these teams at ATP, you guys are doing incredible numbers, right? we've always been a big organization on recruiting, right? We need to kind of tweak this a little bit and really focus in on transitioning these people from representatives to licensed agents. Okay? See, we don't have, like, Amazon, right? Coca-Cola. They don't have stores. They don't have stores. They just have distribution, y'all. Okay? And so look, the math of the business, right? We did the math here with our numbers here. For every 10 licensed agents, you're gonna get about 20 appointments a week. For 10 licensed agents, it's gonna ultimately, converse into 8,000 of premium. Okay, 8,000 of premium. What that means, coincidentally, 100 licensed agents is gonna give you 200 appointments on a weekly basis. That's 80,000 of premium. 80,000 of premium. And the numbers work out like this, Brian. For every 30 new licenses that you have, that's about $100,000 of income extra on a yearly basis. For every 30 new licensed agents. So Josh, you want to get to 100,000, you want to get to 200,000. I would focus in on not necessarily how do I get 100,000, it's how do I focus in on getting 30 licensed agents ASAP. The numbers just work out that way. Okay? When we increase distribution, everything multiplies. Okay? And so, a lot of people overcomplicate the business. They overcomplicate the business. The math is very simple. And when we increase all that stuff, everything else increases, right? This is the reason why a lot of people stay small in Primerica. They start off hot and then they kind of stagnate down or they lower their numbers is because they're focused in on selling. They're focused in on, man, I want to have all the products and then focus in on training one person forever. It's their horse. Okay. But the people that go out and build huge organizations, they focus in on recruiting big numbers, on translating them to licenses and making sure that they're independent producing money-making members of the organization by having distribution. And I'd encourage you guys to not necessarily focus in on being the best salesperson. I think it's important to be a good salesperson. But I want you guys to focus in on becoming a distribution factory for people who are salespeople. I heard Gary Cornegay say this a long time ago. He said, I never wanted to be the man. I wanted to be the man that had the man. Okay? And look, we talk about this recruiting funnel, man. 1 who gets 3, 3 who gets 3 is 9, 9 who gets 3 is 27. You do that a couple of ways down the way, the business starts to compound in a very short period of time. Okay? But, if we all focused in on getting 3 recruits, we got 3 recruits last month, personal. How many recruits you guys get personal last month? 2, right? How many did you get personal last month? 1. How many personal did you get last month? 1, right? How many people did you get last month?
Last month, there was nobody.
Last month you were studying, right? How many people did you get personal last month? 11. How many people did you get personal last month?
4.
4. How many people did you get personal last month, right? And so look, man, if in this room right here, right, there was 3 people that got 3 personal directs last month. Okay? If all of us got 3 personal this month moving forward, how the business is going to change, right? Ray, you got 11. How much premium did you do last month? 2,000, right? 2,000 in premium. Now all these people that you got recruited, like team wise, how many did you do? Got to know that big job, right? So next month, right? This month right now, if you did 11 this month, that's your goal now, right? And then on a team wide, how much you do from a team standpoint, this is what we got to be doing to beat those numbers. Always be beating those numbers. But even with that being said, right? 3 who get 3. How are we going to tell people, Brian, to go and recruit 3 people if we're not doing it ourselves? Right, Josh? Always got to be focused in on that, at a minimum, recruiting 3 people. At the beginning, the business feels slow, right? The business feels slow. And it's like, man, I'm going through this thing. The business feels slow until it actually takes off and explodes. Okay? Yes,
When
sir.
you see that shift in business.
When we started license for Jackie and I, when we were individually, right? When we got 30 new licenses, when we got 30 licenses, there was different stages. The beginning was when we got 30 licenses. That's when we started making about $100,000 a year.
At 30 licenses?
At 30 licenses, yeah. Yeah, because we were always big personal producers, right? So we always gonna make money on our own pen. The extra stuff, that's what we would use to invest back into the business in the base shop. But 30 licenses, that was like the beginning standpoint. We're like, okay, well, it's just me doing the business. Now I got some other people, okay? That's where you're gonna start getting, your 10, 15, 20, 25,000 of premium, right? On a base shop basis. Okay, those 30 licenses. And then our business again transitioned when we got a senior vice president, because that was like, now we had different funnels that were managing their own funnels. Okay, so in the business, y'all, for most of us in the business, for most people in the beginning, they're kind of just tinkering around with it, right? Kind of tinkering around. It feels slow, right? They're doing one recruit, they're doing two recruits, then they're doing one recruit, then they're doing five, then they're doing two, and it's kind of going back and forth, right? And we're not really giving it enough time to really be able to kick off on this thing. 3 direct personal recruits, and then driving that to 10 team recruits is going to be the catalyst to make sure that this thing starts taking off. Okay? That's a hockey stick growth visual. That's how the business, kind of like the S curve. In the beginning, it's going to take a little bit of time, but once it starts taking off, now that, like, how many did you guys do on a team basis last month?
Recruits,
Yeah,
we did 50 something like.
and you did 4 directs, right? But before that all started taking off, you were doing 10, 15 directs on a monthly basis, right?
Yeah,
See how that starts to change and transition when we get things going in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it takes off, and we don't have to have the same amount of effort required to be able to keep that thing in orbit. But we have to get this thing moving. And every organization, I want to give you guys peace of mind. Every organization starts like that, y'all. Right? It's not like some people are special. Everybody, right? Primerica emphasizes recognition, right? So when people get recognized, we almost see it like an overnight success. But there was many months and some cases many years where they were kind of trying to get everything they could do to get the business off the ground. Okay, so we got to get that thing off the ground. Now, what kills momentum? Not recruiting weekly. Not recruiting weekly. We should always be recruiting somebody on a weekly basis. If you did 1 a week, that's still 4 directs for the month. You're still overcoming and meeting your goals. Not scheduling appointments. Waiting for the perfect time. I want to figure out, I want to know all about the products. I want to learn about everything that we do. And overthinking. Okay? That kills momentum. The real goal in Primerica is not just making money. It's important, but it's not the most important. The real goal of what we're doing here, y'all, what you guys should be focusing in on is building distribution, building licenses, building independent, productive people. Because that distribution, Brian, is going to create the income that you're looking for, is going to create the freedom, is going to create the leadership, and ultimately the organization or the organism that's going to keep on moving whether you show up to work or not. Okay? And so 3 numbers that matter. Recruits, appointments, and licenses. There's so many different things that we can focus in on. But if we kind of simplify this thing down, those are the 3 things that if you focus in on those things alone, everything is going to grow for you. If those numbers go up, your income grows up. Your income will automatically follow. And so The mission is obviously to help families, build leaders, expand distributions. And we need to be focusing in on building a financial services army. The vision, right? 20 RVPs, 1,000 new licenses, millions of families served. You know, Mark Zuckerberg said, if you have a goal, right, don't set it for 6 years from now, set it for 6 months. Right? 20 new regional vice presidents by 2027 by the convention. 1,000 new licenses.
It's y'all vision.
This is for the organization, the hierarchy by 2027. Yep. ATP, I see like 300 to 400 to 500 of those licenses in there by 2027. Kingdom, Josh, right? 100 to 200 licenses. Alan, Nilda, 100 to 200 licenses by the convention. I mean, that's something that we could definitely achieve, but we have to be intentional about it, y'all. Right? Powerhouse, Natasha on the line with the team that you're developing, and when you are on it, you're absolutely killing it. 100, 200, 300 new licenses by the conventions. 3 to 5 to 10 regional vice presidents by the convention. Why not? You had a question?
No.
Why not? Right? And so look, man, this week's challenge, okay? And this week, right, we're on Wednesday. We have 4 or 5 days left for the end of the month, 4 days left, right? The challenge of this month, Brent put out a big challenge which is March Madness, right? We're in March Madness. She put out a new bracket out there, which is awesome. That's right, man. Make sure that you guys follow up on that. That's going to be huge. Any March Madness brackets, there's money involved. And so the winner is going to be getting paid out a good amount, right? And it's focusing just on recruiting. So I'm going to give you guys a cheat sheet, man. This week's challenge, recruit 2 people, schedule 5 more appointments, and move 1 more person towards their license. You guys have people that are in the pipeline right now that are kind of, coasting along the way. Move them towards those licenses, right? Where you're at today, focus in on scheduling some appointments. If you got 5 appointments today, good. Do another 5 tomorrow. Do another 5 the next day. And focusing in on recruiting 2 new people for the rest of this week. I promise you the month is going to spark off for you guys, okay? And so look, man, there's some final thoughts. Here before we finish off here. Small thinking creates small organizations. And big distribution creates big organizations, y'all. The difference between a person that makes $100,000 a year versus somebody who makes $1 million a year is very, very simple. It's what? In this business, is what? We just talked about it. Distribution. It's distribution. Thank you guys for taking notes. It's distribution, y'all. And so we gotta build this machine, okay? We have to build this machine. Now, action step. Action step for you guys that are on Zoom, right? For you guys here, right? Let's take a minute real quick. Write down these next 3 people that we're gonna recruit. For most people, they're future leaders, they're regional vice presidents, they're already in the phone. Okay? So yesterday, Jackie and I were out and about. We had some lunch. We went, I had to deliver some stuff to return some stuff from the mall. Prospected somebody from the mall, right? Prospected 2 or 3 people from the mall, which was really great. This person, I found out she works at World Financial Group, already has a license, and she's just, all she knows is the insurance license. I talked to her, when are you gonna get your investment license? She's like, what's that? Like, you're just gonna be an insurance person?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm studying for finance. Well, you're only doing one thing of the puzzle. We do securities, we do investments, we do all these different things. She's like, I'm interested, right? So I got her name and number. Look, man, it's all about just going out there and talking to people. Eric, thank you for doing that training yesterday. We said, what are we doing in the office, right? Everybody here has already been recruited. Everybody already here has a policy. It's about getting out there and opening up your mouth and talking to those people, okay? Closed mouths don't get fed, okay? And then finally, the last 15 minutes, I want to talk to you about this right here. The top reasons why people don't make big money in Primerica. Okay, the top reasons why people don't make money in Primerica. Number one is when things don't go your way, you curl up, you pout, you ball up for days, weeks, months. Sir, Jacob, you could have like curled up, you could have balled up after all those attempts to pass that exam. You missed it, man, but you got back up and you went and attacked that thing and you got it done, right? So many people out there miss it one time, or they talk to a person, don't schedule an appointment, it doesn't go their way, and they think the business doesn't work. That's the number one reason why people don't see success in Primerica, okay? Number two is their desire to one-up people and prove them wrong is greater than your desire to win. Okay? Number three is you're not happy and excited for others who do well in your field or profession. Dad talks about it all the time, man. When somebody does something good, recognize them, be hype with them, man, celebrate with them, because eventually it's going to be you too, and you want them to celebrate with you as well. Don't clog the pipeline of blessing. Okay? Don't clog the pipeline. You rub people the wrong way. You rub most people the wrong way. This is nothing more than skills, right? A learned trait, learning how to get better with dealing with different types of people. You're too spasmodic in your work ethic. You keep starting and stopping with days and breaks. Spasmodic. You know what spasmodic is?
Yes.
Brian, never heard of spasmodic? Spasmodic is
That's a really big one.
That's an SAT word.
spasmodic. You're hot, then you're cold. You're hot and you're cold. That doesn't even work in relationships, right? The quickest way to drive a lady crazy or the quickest way to drive a man crazy is be spasmodic in your feelings about the relationship.
Good.
It's the same way we do it in the business as well, right? Okay? If we are excited about this 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? That's gonna create a contagious feeling that people want to be around something like that, and ultimately your work ethic is going to continue to rock and roll. Your thermostat is set way too low. Every time you get a little bit of results, you shut your heater down, right? Like just when you're at home and you put the thermostat to like 70, when the temperature hit and it's at 69. When it hits 70, it's done, right? But if you put that thing to 80 degrees and it's at 69, you got some time to get that thing going. See, in business, we put the thermostat too low. Our goals too low, Alan. Man, I wanna do, 3 recruits, 3,000 in premium when we know that we're capable of doing 10 by 10,000. Okay? Don't put your thermostat too low. Stretch yourself. Right? You haven't learned that you can make good money. You haven't learned that you can make good money by yourself, but huge money only comes from amassing a great team. Nothing wrong with personal production. It's amazing to be able to do that. The issue with that is you don't want to do that forever. Right? Everybody came here to get free. And the only way to get free, nobody came here to be a salesperson. Nobody came here to sell insurance. People came here to build a business, get overrides, and create freedom. And that only way it can be done is by amassing a great team. You haven't mastered your craft and helped others master their craft. So like today, we talk about the process of how do we do a phone call to do the cash value calls, right? That was the first time you talked about it, Brian. Next time this conversation comes along, you can't say, I've never done that before. I never practiced, right? We have to master these crafts. Now you guys got the notes, you got the system, the video is recorded for all of you guys on Zoom as well. Now you know how to do it. It's a matter of practicing. Our pastor on Sunday talked about it's crazy how people come and they just get fed from Sunday to Sunday, right? Like if it was on a diet, how crazy would it be if I'm just eating on Sunday and then I don't eat anything at all week and then I eat again on Sunday again? It'd be crazy, right? We have to eat every single day. It's the same thing with the business as well, y'all. You can't just go from one training to another and expect that you're gonna get good things. It'll happen, but it's gonna happen way long down the road. The only way for us to continually master the craft is we have to be intentional about practicing it on a daily basis, y'all. Even when I don't have appointments, which is very rare on a daily basis, I still give a presentation. I don't know how people go a day or two without doing a presentation. I'm so rusty, even myself, so rusty if I go from 1 or 2 days without doing a presentation. Like sometimes on the weekends, like if I don't do a presentation from Saturday, Sunday, and I'm back on Monday, the first couple of appointments, rusty. And that's like, I've done hundreds and thousands of appointments over all these years, and I still get rusty. It boggles my mind that people spend a week and they don't do a presentation and they expect I'm gonna get some good results. I'm a master at this, right? We gotta be good at something like that, okay? You don't see yourself every year as 365 opportunities to self-improve. 1% better, right, Eric?
Yep.
1% better. 1% better every day, that's 365% better year over year. You spend too much time, I'm gonna step on some shoes here. You spend too much time with TV, internet, video games, etc. What's your mass distraction leading to your mass destruction? Man, we do a lot of social media prospecting. Okay, yes, prospecting on social media is great, but if you're scrolling on social media, that is not doing the business. Okay? All right, let's get focused with that. Most of the people you hang out with, the ones that influence your thinking, are broke and not self-improving. Ain't that the truth? We got to get around people who are like-minded. It's about proximity. Okay, Zoom, I hope you're listening. You have an employee mentality. You think that you're an employer or the government is going to take care of you. That's such a big tragedy in the business and why most people don't see success, man. How many of you guys have sat down with people that they're like, I get disability, or I get something like this. I get like 2,000 from the government. That's disability. I can't do the business because if I do it, I'm gonna lose out on that. Isn't that crazy? It's the wildest thing to me. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna make 3,000 or 4,000 with us. It's don't you think if you make 3,000 or 4,000 with us, it's okay if you're not making the 2,000 from the disability? Oh, but it's like, Garrett, it's so crazy to me, y'all. That's the mentality of most people. I'm so glad that we work with a team that doesn't think like that. Okay? You can't manage your ego, which we need to win. You crush egos of would-be superstars on your team. Manage the egos. Manage the egos. Okay? And that's, Brandon, you guys do such a good job with the disc profile and managing different people's personalities. That's really good so that you don't crush those egos. Everybody's different. Okay? Number 14, you haven't realized that entrepreneurs can't be bossed. They need to be inspired and be led. You're like Whitney was talking about, how's the list? Where's the list? How many appointments do we got set? What do we got going on? They need to be inspired. They need to be led, y'all. All right? Spending time with them. Number 15, you waste most of your time with people who have clearly demonstrated that they're not the one. Don't fall in love with potential. Don't fall in love with potential, right? We got to work with actual people that want this business, that not that they need it, okay? And 16, your inability to not care about what folks think about you has made you ineffective in coaching them. You will get everything in your life as long as you help other people get what they want in their life. Okay? And then finally, you won't burn the ships. So many people, right, in the business, they have, on the side, they're doing Primerica. And then they have their jobs, right? Tony said, what did Tony say? You can't have a wife and a girlfriend?
Wife and a side chick.
A wife and a side chick, right? You got to be married to the game. not all at once, right? At the beginning, you have to make that decision in your mind. But eventually, there's gonna come a point in the road, right? When you start making that money and you're figuring out, man, I'm kind of getting this thing going. You have to make that decision to burn those shits and plant the flag. There have been so many opportunities that have come to Bryn and Eric, myself and Jackie, Eric and Mom about opportunities out there. How many of those do you think we took advantage of?
Zero.
None. Our flag is planted, y'all. Flag is planted, okay? And you don't need to win like you need to breathe. You gotta want this thing, man. You gotta want this thing. When you're going to bed and you're dreaming about the business and you're waking up and you're thinking about the business, that's when you know you're on track, y'all. You don't need to win like you need to breathe. The good news is you can make that switch immediately. Okay? And so let's get after this thing. Man, I'm finishing right on time here. 10:27. It's Wednesday. Action step, man. Let's go and focus in on distribution this week. Let's make sure that we're focusing in on recruiting, setting up some appointments, and moving some people towards licensing because you can't override a recruit. Okay? Let's go after it. What's that? Yes, sir.
You know, break that down, like,
Yeah, you don't need to win like you need to breathe, right? Like the fact you want to win so bad more than you want to breathe. Like that's what Eric Thomas talks about that, right? You gotta have mentality. You gotta want to win more than you want to breathe. It has to be that good. You know, like when you're walking in water and like you're underwater and you're like gasping for air. That's the kind of feeling that you need to have when you want to win in the business. Like that you're doing everything you can at the end of the road to get that gasp of air to breathe. That's how it is. It needs to be in the business in terms of winning. I need to hit my goals. I need to hit this promotion. I need to get this other license. Like it should be that impactful. Okay, good, awesome. All right, guys, let's go after it. You know who we are. We are.